This past weekend, the volleyball team stayed red hot, but football and hockey did not.
That's right, Alex. We're going to talk about Ohio University's sporting struggles this past weekend and much more on this episode of Ohio Sports Zone. Hello and welcome into another episode of Ohio Sports Zone. I'm John Kostas alongside Alex Utano. And Alex, this Ohio men's golf team struggled this past weekend at the Maryland Terrapin Invitational. They tied for 5th place, but that doesn't really tell the story in total. They shot plus 27 after a delay due to frost. It was a rough weekend for them. They really didn't get anything underneath their feet because their top scorers were at plus 7 and plus 9. You got to get closer to par if you want to be successful.
Yeah, as you said, Grant Engel and Ty Harriet both with plus 7. When you're trying to get some success for this program and your golfers are playing like that, you're not going to really get anywhere. Though they did just come off of a 4th place finish out of 16 teams at the Firestone Invitational. Like you said, these two top 5 rankings, don't really tell the tale when you really look into it. However, you do have to be happy with the fact that these teams are finishing top 5 out of double-digit teams. It does say something, however, they really do have to step it up as the season goes on.
What really needs to happen is they need to improve their consistency. At that Bridgestone Invitational, they had a couple of packed golfers who were right near par. Then the week after that, they just seemed to not be able to sink anything. Their short game was very bad, but again, they have a couple more weeks until that MAC preview for the Invitational at the end of the fall season before they really start in the spring for their more competitive season. But they aren't the only team that struggled this last weekend. The Ohio football team lost a big one to Western Michigan. The final score was 49-14, and they looked lost on defense after the first quarter, and who's to blame them? When you name some of the top players on this defensive unit, you think Javon Johnson, you think Ian Wells, and you think Quentin Poling, all 3 of which were out by halftime.
Well, after that banged-up defense, as you just mentioned, the offense didn't really help their case either. You have the 2 quarterbacks, Vic and Wilhelm, trying to just keep their team in the game. However, they could not. 18 for 36 goes Darius Vic for 167 yards, 1 touchdown. And off of 6 scrambles, he only gets 1 yard. And usually a dual-threat quarterback like Vic, you expect a little more from that run game. But instead, it was Greg Wilhelm that had not only 88 passing yards, but 32 rushing yards that led the team. This team in total had 99 rushing yards. And when you compare that to the top rusher from the Western Michigan side, which was Levante Bellamy with 149 yards and a touchdown, I mean, you got to really ask questions about what's happening with this run game. Why didn't the offense carry their part of the weight? I mean, yes, the defense could have stepped it up, but like you said, there were injuries. And 14 points against a team like Western Michigan, it's not going to get you very far. And that loss also allows Bowling Green, who's 3-0 in the conference as opposed to Ohio's 2-1, allows them to jump them for the top spot in the MAC East.
Alex, this is a Western Michigan team that contended with Michigan State, that played well against Ohio State in the first half, and then their 3rd loss coming into that game against Ohio this weekend was to Georgia Southern, the top team in the Sun Belt Conference. And this is a team that ran all over Ohio's defense. Like you mentioned, they had a top rusher who had more yards than Ohio's entire team, but that doesn't even fully illustrate what happened. The full illustration comes from 430 yards. They had 3 running backs who had more than 95 yards, the least of which was Jarvian Franklin, a guy who as a freshman set a rushing touchdown record. For for Western Michigan, and he had the third most yards on the team. Ohio totaled just 90 yards in the rushing attack. You had 3 guys rushing more than your entire offense. That is not a way to be successful, because the number one way to win a game is to control the possession time. And if you do that and keep your defense off the field, it's very difficult to lose a game as long as you've been playing good defense like Ohio has all year long with opportunistic turnovers.
Well, Ohio football will continue this Saturday as they look to bounce back into the win column for their 6th win of the season against Buffalo. But moving on to a team that has been very red hot as of late, and that's the Ohio women's volleyball team with a 3-1 victory over Toledo this past weekend. That extends their win streak to 11. They are undefeated right now, 8-0 in MAC play. Abby Gillen recently named the MAC Sports Female Scholar Athlete of the Week. I mean, this has been a good week for Ohio volleyball.
It really has, and this next week, they're going to be challenged because they have 2 really tough opponents. First, they're playing Western Michigan, the team that knocked them out of the MAC Conference tournament last year. And then second, they have Northern Illinois University. Those 2 teams are the top 2 teams in the MAC West. Ohio is the top team in the MAC East. Miami is second there. It's going to be tough for them to keep their roll going on because they haven't lost since mid-September when they played against Louisville.
That's September 12th to be exact, that 3-2 loss against Louisville. They will continue their journey against Western Michigan. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll give you updates on the hockey team.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Ohio Sports. I'm Alex Utana, once again joined by John Kostis. And John, for the first time under the Sean Hogan era, they saw a loss at home. That 5-4 shootout loss was just the beginning, as they also experienced their first sweep when Sean Hogan was present in the building. Now, yes, you might think back to last year toward the end of the season where Sean Hogan took Michael Harris, Tyler Benson, and Joe Breslin all the way over to Spain for the World University Games, where they were swept a couple times in that span. But when Hogan was there, up until this weekend, they were 26-0. And Lindenwood comes in and shocks Ohio and also knocks them out of that top ranking in the ACHA in the process.
Alex, not only does Ohio go from number 1, they move all the way down to number 7 after getting swept by the number 3 team in the ACHA. It was a massive defeat for this team, and I know last year at this time they were ranked number 8 in the country. You're still seeing progress from last year, but this is a very defeated team that's going on the road for the next 4 games. They're going to be playing a CSCHL opponent in Illinois, and then it's going to be followed by them playing number 6 ranked Liberty. It's a tough stretch coming up for this Bobcat team after a very easy opening schedule. You're going to have to see how they respond to adversity here.
Well, what was so shocking about this loss was the weekend before they went into Iowa State territory and took them out twice. Yes, one was a 1-0 shootout, but to sweep the number 5 team in the country after you had so many road woes last year against ranked teams when they constantly split series on the road, this seemed like a big sign. They got the number 1 ranking. They have an 8-0 record with all the momentum in the world. But then Lindenwood Lions come out, and after Michael Harris scored in the first period of that first game, they scored 4 straight goals, taking advantage of some sloppy defensive play in the slot and a Trent Johnson injury after he got blocked. The rebound was right in front for a Sprague's goal. And then that next night, which was really shocking, that 4-1 loss. After the near comeback in the third period where Rudin struck twice along with Jake Vielle and 2 goals in the last 2.5 minutes, you thought that this team would really come back that second night and take back that home ice advantage, but they just could not do it.
Lindenwood's defense proved too mighty against this Ohio team that, again, has not had an extremely tough test before that Iowa State weekend, which was the week prior to the Lindenwood game. But you have had consistent scoring from a couple of key players. You've had Michael Harris, who has 14 points on the season. He's even with 7 goals and 7 assists. In addition to that, you have had a solid freshman stepping up in Matt Rudin, who has 12 points off of 8 goals and 4 assists. And then I don't think you can say enough about what Mike Lafreniere has done. He has improved leaps and bounds over last year, and that's not saying that he was a poor player last year. It's just saying that Lafreniere, who has 4 goals and 6 assists, 10 total points, has already outscored what he did last year, and his best accomplishments have really come off of keeping the puck in the offensive zone. He's done such a great job at making sure that that does not get past the point.
That's exactly the reason why Ohio had a lot of dominating wins, 'cause every time the teams tried to clear the puck or get a breakout, Michael Lafreniere was there to break it up. And another player who's being overlooked is Diego Breckenridge. Last year in 27 games played, he had 3 goals and 4 assists, 7 points on the year. And through 10 games right now, he's already tied his assist total with 4, and he's 1 away from tying his goal total. He did have the only goal in that 4-1 loss to Lindenwood on the second night. Brings him to 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points on the year, and it's all because he finally found his place with a fantastic line with Matt Rudin and either Brian Lubin, and Cody Black at center. That line has looked phenomenal, and you're really starting to see not only Diego Breckenridge throw the body around like a wrecking ball like he usually does, but now he's getting a lot of offensive opportunities, and he's really showing his case on why he's a fantastic two-way player for this team.
And Ohio fans have to remember, the reason that he has improved so rapidly is because this is the first season that he's really been healthy for a significant amount of time. Before this season, he was always injured with that knee injury last year, and even 2 years ago, I believe, he also had some knee injuries, and it's been the same thing nagging him. Now, he's 100% healthy. He's been healthy over the offseason, and you're really getting to see a player really start to come together, because that's what it takes. It takes a couple months of being healthy before you find your flow. But what does this Ohio team have to do to be successful this weekend? The first thing they have to do is limit the Olin brothers. I know that John Olin has only played in 4 games. He only has 2 points, 1 goal and 1 assist. But Joe Olin, the other brother on the Illinois team, is 3-1 with a 1.84 goals against average. He has stopped 93.5% of the shots that have come his way. That's contending with all of Ohio University's goalies, who have all done extremely well this year.
Last year, Ohio was 2-1-1 against Illinois, and a player that I'm going to look to step up this weekend is Patrick Spelsy, because he registered 2 goals in that opening night against John Carroll in Game 1. After that, he's yet to find the back of the net. It's really concerning considering he's still with that dominant line of Michael Harris, Joe Breslin, and himself, Patrick Spelsy, that did so well last year. But now he's found himself in a bit of a scoring slump, and he's going to have to break that if they want to beat Illinois on their home turf.
And I think part of that really comes from being on a line with 2 scorers who are so good. Breslin's an extremely physical center, and then Mike Harris has done a great job of scoring off of pretty much anything this year. And he's been distributing very well, but he's distributed to defenders and stuff like that. It makes it difficult for everyone to get equal points.
Absolutely. And Spelsy has been moving the puck around, 8 assists on the year, but hopefully he can keep it up this weekend. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, women's basketball is on the table.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Ever wonder what really happens in the world? Ever wonder what the media is keeping from you? Well, look no further than AVW's News Time for all your answers. Ohio University's most reliable source of unreliable news. All news, all the time, none of the facts. All made possible by AVW Productions. You can trust us. We're professionals.
Hello and welcome back to Ohio Sports Zone. I'm John Kosas alongside Alex Utano and Bobby Levine, who's going to talk a little bit about the women's basketball team. Bobby, this team has been under the leadership of Bob Bolden for 2 years now, and he's done an excellent job transforming this squad. They have a 36-26 record under him. What has he done to transform one of the laughingstocks of the MAC into a contender?
Well, he's done a lot of great recruiting jobs here at Ohio University. He's transformed this team from a 9-21 his first year to last year turning into 27-5. The last 2 years, including this year, possibly can have over 55 wins combined. He's done a great job getting the players he wants and getting the offense, which is the go offense. You want to get the most points possible and hope his defense can stop the opposing offense. He's done a great job with that.
Now, one of the players leaving this Ohio team from last year is Mariah Bird. Now, Mariah Bird did fantastic last year. She was third on the team in points per game with 9.7, second on the team in three-point percentage with a 3.74, and fourth on the team in assists per game with 1.9. Now, Bobby, I know there's a lot of talent on this roster, but who's going to have to step up in Bird's absence?
Well, it's not just Mariah Bird who we're missing. We're missing Kat Yell, who's also the point guard and leader. Of course, they're going to have to step up. Like you said, I have a couple girls going to step up. I've got Kelly Carlos, who I think could possibly get the starting role. She had a stress factor in her ankle last year, which sidelined her after just 8 games. And I think Yamani Jenkins is going to step up as a point guard role and hopefully lead this Bobcats team to back-to-back MAC champions.
And Bobby, you mentioned all the people who are missing, the only really 2 people who are missing, but people who could step up. And then they're the names that everybody knows, such as Kiana Black, an all-MAC caliber player. Who do you think is going to be the leader or the MVP of this squad at the end of this year?
Well, I'll take it from 2 different ways. We have the offense MVP, as you just mentioned, Kiana Black, KB. Give me the Kobe Bryant of this team. As you said, she's been unbelievable. She averaged 16 points per game last year, an incredible shooter. She broke the record for 100 three-pointers made last year, and she shot 265 times from the three, which is an unbelievable stat. Now, defensively, it could be a lot of people, but I think Kiera Lampkins, who had 39 steals last year, an unbelievable presence in the post, and 15 blocks, she's going to be a wrecking force on defense for this year and hopefully can produce the same stuff with all these freshmen coming back and helping this team. Hopefully we can do exactly what we did last year.
Now, Bobby, last year, the Ohio Bobcats women's basketball team went 16-2 in the MAC. The only 2 teams that were able to beat them were Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan. Now, do you see the same success happening in this MAC schedule, or do you think with the improvements from teams all around the MAC, it's going to make it a lot tougher to compete?
Well, last year, Ohio University went 11-3 in the non-conference against a lot of cupcakes, which helped their confidence boost to get into the MAC and where they completely dominated, as you just said. Now, this year, it's a little different. The non-conference includes at Illinois, Florida Gulf Coast, Indiana, Vanderbilt, and Middle Tennessee State, who are very, very good women's basketball teams and will help the non-conference schedule boost the conference schedule because the MAC is not up to par as the Big Ten, SEC, and the ACC is in basketball. So hopefully, if the women's team loses or trips up in the MAC tournament, their non-conference can boost them and hopefully get a at-large bid. But this year, with all these teams, I think that it's going to give them a lot of momentum if they can win a couple of these games to get into the MAC season, as I think they're going to sweep the whole thing.
Bobby, one of the ways that this basketball team was so successful last year was because they lived and died by the three. This is a team that shot 846 three-pointers. That's compared to an opponent's 584. And guess what? They made 35% of them. They made 296 threes last season. What are they going to have to do? Do they have to limit it this year? Do they continue to live and die by it? Because Bob Bolden loves his three-pointers. But as you saw against Arizona State, it really didn't work out.
Well, I know you have to live and die by the threes, and that's what happened as we were eliminated early on in the NCAA tournament. But Bob Bolden has brought in a plethora of freshmen this year. And we could see what Kentucky did last year with the blue platoon and the white platoon with the green and white here at Ohio University. We got the starting 5, Kiera Lampkins, KB, Lexi Baldwin, probably Monty Jenkins, and Jasmine Weatherspoon. Now the green platoon could be coming in with Hannah Tomey, Dominique Dosick, who broke the record at Athens, scoring 1,777 points. You can have Hannah Bossinger, who's been the 6th girl coming off the bench, Destiny Cooper, and Mariah Harris. This could be a bomb squad of just girls going back and forth, scoring and shooting from all over.
Now, Bobby, before we go to commercial break, let me ask you for a bold prediction. What do you see this women's basketball team doing this season as a whole?
I'm going to go out on the line here. I'm going to say either 27-5, if not better, and hopefully, knock on wood, we stay healthy, the offense keeps up, and we can see either going to the Sweet 16 or the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament.
Bobby, this team is going to play their first game November 7th against Wilmington College. Not a big name. What do you think about this team?
Well, it's going to be a very easy opponent. Obviously, you're not going to get into the non-conference right away. You're going to ease into it. I think that the team is going to come out shooting lights out. Hopefully, they put up some big numbers. I see a big 100-point win. Not by 100. I think we'll score 100 and hold them to around 33 points. So hopefully, we'll see a big win and hopefully leads on to the season.
Thank you so much, Bob. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, a special interview.
Looking for these? You drive Buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Toucan Sam.
What's it take to get some hunky construction equipment up in here, huh?
I hope you're joking.
I think we need to follow the advice of Jesus and get down, girl. Go ahead, get down.
Please state your name and the role you're auditioning for.
Hi, my name is Christopher Walken.
What if it is Loch Ness Monster?
I mean, I got some shopping to do at Whole Foods, but I'll join in.
What to my captain?
I'm right then. I knew I was right.
Hello, and welcome into another episode of Ohio Sports Zone. I'm John Kosas alongside Shelby Walker. Shelby, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Shelby is a member of the Ohio women's volleyball team, who is 18-3 this year. Shelby, how does it feel to be a part of this team that's one of the top teams in the MAC, it seems, year in and year out?
It's great. Just to be a part of this success is really awesome and exciting.
And Shelby, you guys have not lost a game since you guys lost to Louisville, and that was all the way back in September. It was September 12th. Since then, you guys have been on a tear. You're perfect in conference play so far. What is the biggest attribute to this team that keeps towards its success?
I think our cohesiveness, honestly. We're just so, we're so close, and it's just awesome. It's so much fun playing with each other all the time, so we love it.
All right, and this is a team that did not lose a set for a very long time. Is this the most dominant team you have been a part of?
I would say so. A lot of the teams that I've played on, they've been decent, so, this is definitely the best team I've been on.
All right, and when you're looking around the MAC, there are obviously lots of other great teams. You guys fell to Western Michigan last year in 5 sets after leading 2-0. What are the things you're trying to improve on so you don't fall short of what's the ultimate goal, I'm guessing, a MAC championship?
We play Western Michigan this weekend, actually. So we're going into this weekend with a chip on our shoulder, knowing that they did end our conference play last year. So we're just really excited to get in the gym and work hard and know what we need to work on to beat them. So we're excited.
Has this matchup been circled on your calendar for a while? Is this something all of you guys have been thinking about really since last season ended?
Well, definitely this weekend, this match, and actually this whole weekend itself. We play at NIU on Saturday, so they're both two dominant teams in the MAC, and we're pretty excited to get in there and play both of them.
You would just need Miami to really complete the trifecta of the Final Four last year. When you're looking at this team, though, what's the best part of this team? Do you think it's your outside hitters? Do you think it's the girls in the center? Do you think it's the back line? What is the best part of this Ohio squad?
I think the best part is that we're just complete all around. We do have great middles, great outsides, great back row attackers, and great servers. So I just think we're a whole unit that's awesome together.
That's awesome. And this is not the first time you've been a part of a very successful team. You went to Hillsborough Junior College right before you came here to Ohio University, and you were ranked in the top 10 in blocks per set. You were blocking more than one ball per set. So how does it feel to move up to the MAC? What's the difference in competition here?
Well, it's definitely a big jump for me. The JUCO experience, it was a smooth transition from high school for me just because I started so late playing, but it helped me a lot, and I definitely credit all of my talent now to then. So.
And you had a great head coach there. It was Coach Gary Larkin, who has over a 750 winning percentage at the helm of that squad. And what was it like learning from him?
He's awesome, honestly. Everything I know came from him, so it's just exciting to get to transfer that knowledge that I learned there to now.
And you were one of the premier players. You were hitting 363, which was sixth in the division there. And you were one of the people that a lot of people feared to face off against. Did that add to your confidence when you moved up?
Yeah, I was really confident when I came here, just because it was like a different level also, like I was when I transferred here. So when I came in here, it was kind of a wake-up call that now everyone's good, so it's not like that easy anymore, but it's exciting and like it's a new challenge that I'm excited to face.
This isn't the first time you faced difficulties, though. When you were in high school, you didn't make the team the first 2 years that you tried out for it. What kept you persevering?
Honestly, just the fact that I was tall and everyone told me that I should try out for volleyball. So I played softball and I was like a giant on the field out there. So I tried again and I made it. So it was awesome.
Is there anything that you directly take away from softball to your game in volleyball?
Just being an athlete and knowing the time dedication it takes to be on the field all the time and just everything that goes into it, being an athlete.
All right, and when you're talking about making it your junior year, making it your senior year, what was your level of progression like after you were cut those first 2 years? Was it a major change? You just immediately started getting better and better, or was it something that took until you made it to junior college at Hillsborough or until you got here at Ohio University?
I would like to hope that I increased pretty rapidly. My junior year, I made JV, and then I started playing club. So I actually made the second team on the club team. There's two, like on the 17s year, and then I made the 2 team, and then I made the 1s team, and played both in the same season. And then my senior year, made varsity, and then just got better at like that. So.
What would you consider the greatest feat of your athletic career, either in volleyball or softball?
I would say just being able to adjust to things difficulties I was faced with, and making it to the Division I level. It's awesome. The ultimate goal.
All right, what's your biggest goal for your senior year here at Ohio University, either a team goal or a personal goal?
I'd probably say a team goal. We're trying to make it to the NCAA tournament this year, knowing that Western did knock us out last year, so we're just looking forward to this weekend and hoping that we can have the finish that we didn't get last year.
All right, thank you for the interview. Once again, that was Shelby Walker of the Ohio women's volleyball team. This weekend, they're going to face off against Western Michigan and Northern Illinois University. It's a big slate of games to test the undefeated conference record of this squad. For everyone at Ohio Sports Zone, I'm John Kosis.